Rumors are that allegedly the network is still trying to sabotage Real Housewives of Atlanta. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly the network is still trying to sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly the network is purposely trying to sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. A source said that it appears that the network and or producers have it out for the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. Whatever the issue is, the attacks against the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies seem intentional. Behind the scenes, multiple people are wondering why the network will want to hurt their top-rated franchise. The source continued, "Moves like these are crazy and makes you wonder about all of the unflattering claims from former housewives about how shady the network and producers allegedly move. You would think," said the source, "that during this important time in the franchise's history, that the network would be doing all they could to protect the ladies. But no, they are doing the exact opposite." So the question is, what is the network doing to allegedly still sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise? Well, an industry insider said, this week, the network did something very odd that caught the attention of fans and other industry experts. When Bravo released the 7-day ratings tracker for Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Miami, and Married to Medicine. The source continued, "A move like this is highly unusual. Oftentimes, you may combine ratings data for an additional day after the live broadcast, but that's it. Not an entire week's calculations worth of ratings. A move like this gave an inflated sense of popularity," said the source, "for all three franchises, which isn't too inaccurate, just a little generous," ended the source. Fans also agree. One fan said, "Why wasn't Real Housewives of Atlanta afforded having their weekly streaming ratings added to their live broadcasts?" Another fan said, "How convenient for the network to start counting 7-day ratings and streaming after Real Housewives of Atlanta season has ended." Another source added that allegedly the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies feel the same way and think this slight may have been intentional as well. "Adding streaming numbers to same-day live ratings is already unusual," said the source, "but to add in 7 days worth of streaming is downright unheard of." Fans believe the network is allegedly trying to intentionally create the narrative that the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise is still failing while the other franchises outpace them in order to justify an entire cast reboot. Could it work? Well, we will just have to wait and see, said the source. Now, kinfolk, this was some information that came across my desk this week about this alleged plan that looks like it is in place to continue to sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. But I will say this one thing about this rumor that really had me surprised, and it's this. You know, when I first saw this post, and make it perfectly clear, allegedly it came from the network, but it could have come from other sources. Most fans believe that it probably was or could have been leaked by the network. But whatever source leaked this information had an inside track. But when it was leaked, I was just surprised to see 7 days worth of ratings immediately attached to these 3 franchises. And it was not only 7-day ratings, it was also 7-day streaming ratings. Now, I'm not sure how many times that the Sunday night or Monday night or Tuesday night broadcast replays throughout the week, but I could imagine it probably at least plays one additional time after its initial air date during the top of the week. So when you add in those numbers with the live broadcasting numbers and the numbers from live streaming throughout in a 7-day period, those numbers are going to automatically be high, which I feel like the fans have a right to be angry because it is unfair to the ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Whenever they had decent numbers, it was an outcry that the ratings were too low. And then knowing that the fact that the network had this information with streaming, and if you are to believe the rumors, because right now it's alleged information, they could have also released the streaming numbers to help the ladies out with their ratings and to kind of quiet all the talks that the ladies were leading another failing season. But kinfolk, is another part of this rumor that I do also find very interesting, given the fact that now the network or whoever counts these ratings seem to be adding in streaming to live day broadcasts. So with that being said, I find this other fact very interesting. Is this. When Married to Medicine debuted, and it had I think 600 some thousand viewers, and when Atlanta hit an episode at or around that number, and I don't think Atlanta ever hit 600,000. That's kind of low. I think their lowest rated may have been 800,000. But however, when the Real Housewives when Married to Medicine hit 600,000, someone made the comment on Twitter that Married to Medicine is a sinking ship, trying to poke fun at what Phaedra said about the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise and why she chose not to join it. So with that, when they added in the 7-day streaming numbers to their live broadcast numbers, I want to say that it brought their ratings of Married to Medicine to 1.2 million, I think. It may even be higher, but I definitely want to stay at the 1.2 million mark, I think. And what those numbers did for me was realize that if Atlanta was bringing in 800 some thousand on a live broadcast on a Sunday, then 9 times out of 10, once you add in all of their streaming throughout the week, all their reruns of that episode throughout the week, they were probably hitting easily 3 million views throughout a 7-day period, which is definitely not failing. It's definitely not failing by anybody's stretch of the imagination. So with that being said, it does seem a little weird that they would do that. However, it does, make the argument for Real Housewives of Atlanta that if 7-day streaming bump those ladies' numbers up, then 7-day streaming would increase ours by astronomical amounts. Now, kinfolk, the next part of this rumor that I kind of found also interesting about these numbers being released and for the 3 franchises that they were released for is this. It seems as if the network is trying to stop the narrative that Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Miami, and Married to Medicine have low ratings for the season. And the reason why I said it is because Potomac numbers, according to fans on Twitter, were just average. Same thing for Married to Medicine, and fans even thought their numbers were even below average. And the same thing for Miami. Now, I think Miami had the higher of the ratings of the 3. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But whatever the case may be, it was a consensus online that the ladies of all 3 franchises really brought in low, mediocre numbers last week. And I want to also say the week before last. So what that means is it seems as if the network is trying to stop this narrative that they have 3 mediocre franchises on their hand with Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Miami, and Married to Medicine. Now, Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Potomac are 2 sleeper franchises that have a loyal following. And as of late, Real Housewives of Potomac has really been outpacing a lot of the other Real Housewives franchises. So to know that they're bringing in less than stellar numbers could have sent the network and or producers into an alleged panic. And that's why they released these numbers, to show people that, the show is strong and it's popular and that you need to tune in to watch. But it just brings us back to the original argument. Why wasn't the ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta afforded that same courtesy? If that is the case, which it kind of looks like, because if you notice, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills numbers were not included in these 7-day streamings, or at least it wasn't publicized. Why is that? Because they have high ratings. So with that being said, if the network or producers think those numbers were mediocre, and if they thought the Real Housewives of Atlanta numbers were mediocre as well, then the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies should have again been extended that same courtesy of having their 7-day streaming numbers added to their live broadcast ratings. Now, kinfolk, the last part of this rumor that I do find surprising, or not necessarily surprising, because I feel like it just won't work with the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, and it's this. I think it's going to be very hard for the network to sell an entire reboot of the franchise. I think Andy knows that. I think producers know that now. And I think other network executives know that they just cannot do a complete reboot of Real Housewives of Atlanta cast members. Why is that? Because, right now it seems as if there is this external force trying to sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. Or internal force trying to sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. And fans are just smart. The Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives universe fan base is a smart group of people. They see things. They notice things. They've been doing this and watching this universe for now going on 18 some years, I want to say. So they know all the tricks of the trade. So if the network is allegedly trying to create this narrative that the Real Housewives of Atlanta is a failing franchise and it needs a complete reboot, you're going to see a revolt from fans. And fans are probably not going to give an entire reboot cast a chance. And the numbers for Real Housewives of Atlanta probably would then start to sink even lower. And we can see that the network is invested in these staple franchises. We see how long New Jersey has been going on, how long OC has been going on, and also how long Beverly Hills has been going on. So it's like this network, they see the importance of having the cast intact of a heritage franchise. But the only thing about it is, I just feel like these are drastic measures being taken against the ladies unfairly. Why is that? Because if you look at all the other franchises, they have always introduced new cast members in a very gradual way. And it has not been this complete, let's cut it out, right? And just bring in everybody new to next season. Even with Real Housewives of New York, that was a drastic move because it had a drastic situation the network was trying to avoid. That is not going on in Atlanta at all. In Atlanta, I think this is going through a growth moment that all the other heritage brands have also gone through, but in which they were handled with lighter hands in trying to fix their issues. And the network and producers weren't so heavy-handed with them as it seems as if they're coming off with Atlanta. But again, folks, I want to know what you guys think. If you are to believe this rumor that the network and or producers are allegedly trying to still sabotage the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, do you think it's going to work in order for them to sell a reboot? Or do you think they should just abandon this alleged plan altogether? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.